Good morning. Madagascar's president has fled his country in fear for his life after a military rebellion. I'm Remo, and this is the Daily Signal for October 14th, 2025. Stay tuned for the rest of the stories.
Unfiltered. Now,
Here are the other top stories for October 14th, 2025. Story 2. Biden and Clinton praise Trump for brokering breakthrough Gaza peace deal. Story 3. Palestinians celebrate prisoner releases, but see little hope despite bombs stopping. Story 4. Trump's Gaza summit with Netanyahu canceled after Erdogan issues warning. Story 5. Netanyahu continues military rhetoric while Trump pushes Middle East peace agenda. Story 6. 3 economists win Nobel Prize for groundbreaking work on innovation and creative destruction. Story 7. Mexico's death toll from torrential rains climbs to 64 as rescue operations expand. Story 8. Freed Palestinian prisoners reunite with families under historic Gaza ceasefire. Story 9. Released hostages revealed torture, starvation, and months of isolation in captivity. Story 10. Israel receives 4 hostages' bodies while demanding Hamas return remaining 24. Now let's dive into each story. Breaking overnight from Madagascar, President Andry Rajoelina has fled the country after military units seized key government buildings in the capital. Here's what happened. Elite military units surrounded the presidential palace early Sunday morning, demanding immediate resignation over economic policies that have devastated the island nation. The president's security detail evacuated him to an undisclosed location outside the country within hours. This matters because Madagascar supplies over 80% of the world's vanilla, a $600 million industry now in jeopardy. The rebellion follows months of protests over food shortages affecting 2.8 million people. International observers are calling this the most serious political crisis since Madagascar's 2009 coup. In unprecedented political unity, President Biden and Hillary Clinton publicly praised Donald Trump for securing what they're calling the most significant Middle East breakthrough in decades. The Gaza peace deal, brokered through Trump's direct negotiations with Israeli and Hamas leadership, includes immediate prisoner exchanges and humanitarian corridors. Biden stated Trump accomplished what 3 administrations couldn't achieve. Clinton called it masterful diplomacy. Why this matters? This bipartisan support could reshape 2026 election dynamics and signals genuine hope for lasting Middle East peace after 15 months of devastating conflict. While bombs have stopped falling on Gaza, Palestinians are expressing cautious optimism mixed with deep skepticism about lasting peace. In Gaza City, families emerged from underground shelters for the first time in months, but many buildings remain destroyed. Unemployment stands at 85%, and basic services like water and electricity are still severely limited. One Gaza resident told reporters, "The silence is beautiful, but we've heard promises before." The key detail: reconstruction efforts won't begin until all hostages are returned, creating a complex timeline that could reignite tensions if delays occur. Trump's planned Gaza summit with Netanyahu was abruptly canceled after Turkish President Erdogan issued what sources describe as a stern diplomatic warning. Erdogan reportedly threatened to withdraw Turkey from NATO cooperation if the summit proceeded without Palestinian representation. The Turkish leader has positioned himself as a key mediator in Middle East affairs, and his intervention forced Trump to reconsider the meeting's structure. This connects to broader regional dynamics. Turkey's growing influence in Middle East diplomacy is challenging traditional U.S.-Israel coordination, potentially complicating future peace efforts. While Trump pushes for comprehensive peace, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu continues emphasizing Israel's military capabilities in public statements. Speaking to Israeli parliament yesterday, Netanyahu declared Israel stronger than ever and vowed to maintain overwhelming deterrence against regional threats. This rhetoric directly contradicts Trump's calls for de-escalation and has frustrated American negotiators. The tension here is critical. Netanyahu faces domestic pressure from hardliners who view the peace deal as weakness, creating internal political challenges that could undermine the agreement's stability. 3 economists won this year's Nobel Prize for Economics: Simon Johnson from MIT, James Robinson from University of Chicago, and Darren Asimoglu from MIT for their groundbreaking research on innovation, growth, and creative destruction. Their work explains how technological disruption drives economic progress while destroying outdated industries. The Nobel Committee highlighted their research on artificial intelligence's economic impact, particularly relevant as AI transforms global labor markets. You'll want to remember this. Their research predicts AI will eliminate 40% of current jobs while creating entirely new industries, making this Nobel Prize timing especially significant for policymakers worldwide. Mexico's death toll from unprecedented torrential rains has risen to 64 as search and rescue operations expand across 3 states. The storms, described as a 1,000-year weather event, dumped 18 inches of rain in 24 hours across Veracruz, Tabasco, and Chiapas states. Over 150,000 people have been evacuated from their homes, and major highways remain impassable. President López Obrador declared a national emergency and requested international assistance. Climate experts are calling this Mexico's worst natural disaster in a decade, with economic damages estimated at $2 billion. The disaster highlights increasing extreme weather patterns affecting North America. Emotional scenes across the West Bank and Gaza as 180 Palestinian prisoners were released in the first phase of the historic exchange agreement. Families waited outside Ofer prison near Jerusalem as buses carrying prisoners arrived to massive celebrations. Many prisoners had served over 15 years for various offenses during the conflict. The releases are part of a phased agreement that will see 500 prisoners freed over 6 weeks. The real story here: this prisoner release is being viewed as a major Palestinian victory, potentially boosting support for the peace process among Palestinian populations who previously opposed negotiations. Disturbing details are emerging about the treatment of hostages held in Gaza, with released captives reporting systematic torture, starvation, and prolonged isolation. Medical examinations reveal severe malnutrition, untreated injuries, and psychological trauma among the 33 hostages released so far. Several hostages lost over 30 pounds during captivity and show signs of sustained physical abuse. Mental health experts are providing intensive treatment for what they describe as severe PTSD. This detail will surprise you. Despite the abuse, several released hostages have publicly supported the peace process, stating their suffering was worth preventing others from experiencing similar treatment. Israel received 4 hostages' bodies from the International Red Cross yesterday, while demanding Hamas immediately return the remaining 24 deceased captives. The bodies were transferred at the Rafah crossing under Red Cross supervision, marking the first such exchange since the ceasefire began. Israeli officials confirmed the identities but haven't released names pending family notifications. Hamas claims the remaining bodies are in areas still being cleared of unexploded ordnance. The critical development: Israel has threatened to resume military operations if all remains aren't returned within 30 days, creating a potential flashpoint that could collapse the entire peace agreement. Looking across today's stories, 3 major themes emerge that will shape global politics in the coming months. First, we're witnessing unprecedented political realignment around Middle East peace. When Biden and Clinton praised Trump's diplomacy, traditional partisan boundaries are dissolving around foreign policy success. This suggests 2026 elections may focus more on domestic issues than international affairs. Second, the Madagascar crisis highlights growing global instability in smaller nations that control critical resources. With vanilla supplies threatened and similar tensions in lithium-producing countries, we're entering an era where minor nations can create major global disruptions. Third, the contrast between celebration and caution in Palestinian reactions reveals the fragility of this peace process. While prisoner releases generate genuine joy, the underlying economic devastation and reconstruction challenges create multiple opportunities for renewed conflict. Here's what this means for you. Commodity prices, particularly vanilla and potentially other agricultural products, may spike due to Madagascar's instability. Additionally, oil prices could fluctuate based on Middle East peace stability over the coming weeks. The key takeaway from today's news: We're in a period of rapid geopolitical change where unexpected diplomatic successes coexist with sudden political collapses. Stay informed because these developments directly impact everything from your grocery bills to global market stability. That's the Daily Signal for October 14th, 2025. I'm Remo. Subscribe for tomorrow's essential news, and remember, stay curious, stay informed.
Unfiltered.